Hey Melissa, it's your course director Emily Ray. Just wanted to give you a little bit of feedback here on this Real Deal Taco site. I know that you already worked on some revisions for this, hopefully based on what you learned from doing your portfolio site, and also potentially looking at the feedback that I provided other students on this. But I wanted to go through just to give you a bit more insight as to what you created, and some, if you want to include this in your portfolio, some changes that you should consider making, to get this to a place where you can showcase it as an example of best practices in web design. So let's go ahead and poke around and see what we see here. So first things first, on the home page I got the logo, an image slider, a clear navigation, home, location, menu, about, and contact. I know that aligns well with what you put forth in your proposal. Down here it says best fish tacos for real. We have our fictitious business statement, and then a few other bits of content. So what I want to comment on up here is what might look better than the logo in the white box that we see here would be if you used one that had a transparent background, right? And maybe that you switched the logo color to white over this blue, which might go better with the aesthetic that you're creating with this. It looks like a filtered image, like something we might see on Instagram. Here this just looks really boxy, and you're having a hard time really organizing these things because of the shapes that they create within those boxes. Your navigation up here is clear, but it's kind of tiny, and you've got a lot of available space. I would recommend both making these bigger and spacing them out along the spectrum. I'd move the logo up into this section here so it's not on the side, but up here, and then have your words spaced out along this navigation bar. The image slider is great, showing good pictures of food. When I select them, what happens is I get to see the title of that, and if you don't put the title in, it defaults to the name of the file. So this is what the file name is. You want to update it to something that is a bit more descriptive. That's kind of like dotting your I's and crossing your T's. It also helps with the keyword richness of the content and with search engine optimization. It's moving a little bit fast. I might recommend slowing it down just a little bit there. And also, so this kind of feels like an afterthought down here on the bottom. What if you moved that up, as an overlay on the banner there? Because you have this information down here in the footer, it's not necessary in this space. I like that you have these little chunks of content down here. Food lovers, meet our chefs, say hello. This typeface, it looks a little light, with the kind of the texture popping through of this opaque background. I might make this background less see-through, so this will pop a little bit more. And also the red, right? Like the red is off-brand because that's a very warm, hard color, and you're creating more of a chill, cool vibe, with the colors that you've chosen elsewhere. Here are the social media places that people can connect with the business. It looks like the Facebook one is linked out, but these aren't. So these are more just kind of conceptual, which is fine. I'm going to poke over next to location. I would change that to locations, right? Because they have more than one. We've got some kind of interesting things happening here on the page. We've got a fun little picture of a truck, that's nice, but like the background and everything has changed significantly, and it almost looks as if we're on another site and there's no more branding information up here anymore, right? So there's nothing here that even really identifies it as a Real Deal Taco site. We've got the hours of operation, and I like that you've broken this up so it's not a long scrolling thing, but the way that Wednesdays and Fridays don't align with the information underneath it, that's something that you want nice vertical alignment like we're seeing over here. Additionally, a map might be a nice addition to this page, with pin drops of the relative proximity of these locations would be nice. Under menu, so here we have, it looks, not sure what that is and what happened. So this is like an errant image or something that's pushing this menu content down here. So we have, this is organized nicely because we have these headers, right? And then we have the item. So you've organized this nicely, but the page is kind of weirdly laid out because of this issue. You're utilizing a couple of columns, so the most of the space. But again, so you use white text on the last page, black text on this page. You're making these different stylistic changes, and you're lacking uniformity within your design from page to page. Again, no branding information, and the page title on this page looks different again, from this one, just because of the color and also the font. So consistency is important. On the About page, so here we have the Real Deal story. So this also looks very different for a few reasons. First, you've put this white background here, which is great. It makes the content pop off more than with this kind of colored, textured background. I think that this would be a good practice for every page on your site. But then we just have a whole bunch of dense paragraph text that just looks like you copied and pasted it from one environment to the next. And part of the assignment here was that you apply the strategies that you learned for writing for the web to break up dense text, streamline it, and make it more visually appealing for your particular audience. And again, we're seeing different font choices here. On the contact page, different stylistically, I like this white background. No branding information. We do have a little bit of ways to get in touch here in a simple contact form. This dark blue, it does work with the brand, but I don't see it anywhere else on the site, and so for that reason it sticks out to me. Overall, you have a nice start to what we see here, but definitely a few things that you need to consider updating so that you can get this site to a place that you could choose to include it in your portfolio. Let me know if you have any questions about this.